not trying to like fetishize or create this narrative of what Black and gay is. There's many different ways to be gay, there's many ways to be Black, there's many different ways to be queer, and every way is okay. So it's just, do what makes sense to you and what feels right for you, and that's fine. And then you go on with your life. Hey, I'm Tafari Anthony. I'm a soul pop singer-songwriter from Toronto, and you're watching my session with Off the Record. Let's dive into some questions, why don't we? All right. Grace Jones, good choice, good choice. What inspired your song No Good? Oh, girl. No Good was a very terrible relationship. Essentially, it's this moment of like, when you're with somebody and the things that kind of attract you to them, you're kind of attracted to the messiness of the relationship. And when things are ending, you kind of go back and you realize, oh, all these things that were kind of happening that I was attracted to, they're just not good traits. And this is kind of the reason why this person ended up into all the situations that they're into. So it didn't end well, clearly. But I got a good song out of it, so, that's that. What's the relationship between your songs Centerfold and No Good? So Centerfold is actually about the same person, and it was like my moment of realizing during the breakup that, this person was very self-centered, and all these things that they're kind of telling me throughout the relationship, just like, they didn't really care about what was going on with me, you know what I mean? It's just like, everything that they wanted to do and wanted to talk about always centered around themselves. And I used to get stories from them about, different relationships they were having or different friendships that they had. And I was like, oh, that's like a really messy situation. But I realized afterwards that the common denominator was this person. So, we've all been there, I'm sure. Okay, what do we got here? What have unhealthy relationships taught you about yourself? It has taught me that I feel like as humans, not that we want to be in unhealthy relationships, but it's like that drama and all that kind of is exciting. And so as humans, I feel like we're just kind of drawn to it. Even though we know, you don't want to be part of it. It's like if a relationship doesn't have unhealthy things, people think it's boring or it's not exciting or it's not a good relationship. But on the flip side, it's like, no, a good relationship shouldn't have all these unhealthy moments. Like, there's not one thing that is good about an unhealthy relationship. So it's like, a good relationship would be something where, you can still have conflicts. Obviously, you're gonna have conflicts with two people, three people, whatever the situation is gonna be. You're always gonna have things that may not line up, but you should be in a situation where you can talk about that openly and it not be, this big blow up for a little small thing. Okay, in the spirit of Pride Month, let's take the time to educate people on some no good behaviors that they need to drop. What are bad behaviors that negatively impact LGBTQ+ that you want people to stop doing? Oh boy. I think one of the major ones that I encounter is like racism within our community and how it kind of gets put on as like, oh, my preference is this. That's bullshit. Like, you can't just completely disregard a whole race of people because you're like, I'm not into Black people, I'm not into Asian people, whatever. It doesn't make any sense. It's like, you can't tell me out of all these people, you don't find one person in that group of people attractive. So I think that's something that in our culture kind of just gets like brushed off as like acceptable. But I think it's something that we definitely need to like pay attention to and make a change on. On top of that, I think also a body image thing is something that I find is huge. People kind of have this expectation of like a Black gay person and it's like, oh, I want you to be this, I want you to be thuggish, yada yada, and it's just like, dude, come on. Like, that's not reality. And some people are like that, obviously, but that's just like fetishizing these people and trying to, put this claim on like what I'm supposed to be just because I'm Black and I'm gay, you know what I mean? So I think those two things for me are like major things that I think our community needs to just done with. All right, and who is this? I'm Rick James, bitch. Okay. What do we, oh, I see my boy Prince. this album. This is my album. Okay. In 2019, you released a single with Unbloom called My Favorite Records. We gotta ask, what are some of your favorite records? How convenient. This is one of them actually, which is hilarious. I've had this I have one of those IKEA boxed, everyone has them. And this was up for years. I only recently took it down. Also, Lauryn Hill's Miseducation, a staple. If anybody does not know that album, you need to get acquainted ASAP. Aside of that, this is gonna be a weird one for most people, but I am obsessed with Kelly Clarkson. I know it's a very weird choice and I don't care, but Kelly Clarkson is my girl. I'll take any of those albums any day and it'll make me in my feels. As a young gay black man, how important is it to you to express your identity in your music? It's very important. I didn't really realize how important it was until a couple years ago. So when I first kind of started out started out putting out music again, I was kind of focused on just kind of being taking a back seat and just being the narrator of everything. So I would be writing about songs about my friends and things like that, which is fine, but I would purposely kind of be detaching myself from and just having myself be the narrator of my albums. And it was cute for a minute, but then I just realized, you know what, I wish that when I was growing up, I had black gay role models that I could look up to, it just wasn't a thing. And even now we're there, but it's hard to find. So that to me makes me realize that, it is very important for me as a black gay artist to actually provide that for people coming up. So I not that I, try and really super cater the music to make it, overtly black and gay, but I'm just realizing that my truth is important to tell. And I think by telling that, it provides an avenue for other people to kind of, find themselves and express themselves in the way that they want to express themselves. Just kind of going back to what I was saying before as well, just not trying to fetishize or create this narrative of what black and gay is. There's many different ways to be gay, there's many ways to be black, there's many different ways to be queer, and every way is okay. So it's just, do what makes sense to you and what feels right for you, and that's fine. And then you go on with your life. All right. What we got here? Your most recent album is titled The Way You See Me. How do you want people to see you? This is a good question. I think for me, I just really want to be remembered, one, as a great songwriter, two, the vocals. I get recognized for that all the time, so that's cool. But I think ultimately, I just want to be able to tell our stories and be remembered for that kind of stuff. And I want people to kind of see me in a way that isn't necessarily trying to be somebody else. I want people to see that I'm trying to be authentic as I can be. One thing with writing music and putting out music is it can be very soul bearing, and that can be quite scary. So sometimes you don't want all your business out there, but I want people to kind of be able to listen to the music and be like, you know what, I believe that this is this person, that's what's happened to them, and that's their stories and their truth. So for me, that's hopefully what people will take from my music. What is your dream music collaboration? Ooh. I am obsessed with Brandy. And if Brandy ever calls me to do backups for her, to walk her dog, anything, listen, I will be there, okay? But yeah, if I ever got the chance to work with Brandy, I could die happy then. I'd be good. I'm Tafari Anthony. You can find me on any social media platform at Tafari Anthony. If you want to find the music somewhere, just look up Tafari Anthony and you will find me. There's not many of us.